everyone, and welcome to the English LingQ podcast with me, Elle. LingQ is the app that allows you to learn a new language from content you love. You can make anything into a language lesson: YouTube videos, TV shows, news articles, podcasts, whatever it is that you want to learn from. Remember to like this episode and follow or subscribe to the podcast from whichever platform you're listening on. If you're learning English, you can find this episode as a lesson on LingQ in the description. Today I have a special guest, podcaster, language coach, and language learning content provider, and also co-host of the Women in Language event, Kerstin Cable. Kerstin, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, it's morning here in Vancouver, but you are in the UK. What time is it with you?
It's 7 minutes past 5 p.m.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us after your day is done. And I'm sure you're tired, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
No, it's a bank holiday, so I've done nothing all day because bank holidays mean holidays, you know?
Yes, of course. I forgot. It's Easter weekend. Okay.
Easter week.
Lovely. So you've had the day off. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you have some sun in the UK, I think I read.
It's super, super sunny. Yeah,
Nice.
Yesterday it was sunny and reasonably warm, and I went swimming. And today, so it's all outdoor swimming because our swimming pools are still closed.
Oh, right.
And today it looks really warm, but it really isn't. This morning there was snow.
Whoa. Like where you are, there was snow.
Yeah, it's just April weather. Like, it's not staying down or anything. It's just a little bit of, I'm here too.
Oh, it's unpredictable, April. That's true.
I know.
So, Kerstin, you run the website fluentlanguage.co.uk, and you offer resources and run a blog, and also your wonderful podcast, The Fluent Show. So, tell us about The Fluent Show. I think, are you at episode 210 now? You just surpassed 200 episodes?
Yes, well researched. We hit episode 200 last year. We had a little party. We had a little quiz. I love a quiz. I am just so into quizzes. So we had a big quiz, and my friend Began came from. She hosts a podcast called. They host a podcast called Oh No Lit Class, and they came and brought us this literature quiz. It was amazing. It was so random and fun. And since then, yes, I'm now in a new system where in this podcast, which is all about languages from so many different angles. And what I don't do is just do the kind of standard, I think it would be more of a standard kind of polyglot show if you just go, hello, person who is so gifted and speaks 5 languages, tell us your secrets. And I don't do that as much because I find that language is in every aspect of our life and has so many different angles. So I try to bring in as much variety as I possibly can. So the season we've just finished is 10 episodes is a season. The season we've just finished was linguistics season. So I had a academic who researches stylistics. We learned what stylistics is. We talked about neuroscience and how there's lightning in the brain and what impact that has on how you speak and the language you choose, how you code switch. That was incredibly interesting. We talked about the languages of Western and Central Asia. And I have a co-host, Lindsay, who pops in every now and then. So every season there's 2 or 3 episodes where we just hang out. They're much more relaxed. They're much less, there's less and more content at the same time. There's just more laughs. And we did Words of the Year 2020. And we did our top tools. That's a staple. We've done that for 6 years now. Yeah, so the podcast is just a lot of fun and an excuse for me to indulge my curiosity about all things to do with communication and languages.
Amazing. And you just mentioned the Words of the Year 2020. I'm intrigued by that. What are some of the standout words that you guys talked about from last year?
A good one, because we looked at words from the USA. Not so many from the US, because there's just such a list. We looked at the German words of the year, British, lots of British ones, but also Australia. And something that stood out in my mind, the big themes were obviously coronavirus, so COVID, lockdown word of the year. And then in Australia they had ISO, so as a prefix, like the little letters that go at the start of something. And in Australia you can put on ISO kilos, for example, and it's just ISO this, ISO that, and that's something very specific to Australia. Every year there seems to be something quite specific to Australia that I really like. I'm trying to remember what else there was. Black Lives Matter was the other sort of big theme, and I think somewhere the word of the year was just they. So there was also the kind of extension in pronouns and in non-binary conversations that we're having now. So the language always reflects what's on people's minds, and I love that so much about words of the year. It's really, really fun.
Oh, it sounds like a really in-depth conversation. Amazing.
It's just a long list, really.
Now, ever since I found out that you are a person who, I don't know if it's a language you're actively studying right now, but you're someone who has studied the Welsh language. As someone from Wales who knows people, I know people who speak Welsh for sure, but it's a very lesser known language. There are around 3 million people in Wales, and I think around 20% of those people living in Wales speak Welsh. I know that percentage is increasing over the years, which is great. But so that's around 20% of 3 million. That's not a lot of people. And I know you're studying Welsh, and I just spoke with Luca Lampariello actually, and he said he is one of his languages of the year that he's studying is Hungarian, and when he told his uncle that he was learning Hungarian, his uncle was like, why would you waste your time learning a language like Hungarian? No one speaks Hungarian. Well, for Welsh, it's even fewer people. So I guess my question is to you, why Welsh? And and also, have you had any have you experienced like a negative attitude towards your interest in Welsh? Any pushback, like anyone asking you, why would you do that?
I get a lot of why.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the answer that I have now learned is, I don't know whether you're going to understand me, it's Pamlai.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Yeah, Pamlai is Welsh for why not. And that is really my attitude. Like, it's there to be learned. And I cannot express to you how fun I find Welsh. I don't know why. It's like my bae. I love it. It's so much fun. I really enjoy siarad Cymraeg, dysgu Cymraeg. I just love it. It's so much fun, and I am still actively learning. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm super slow, so I've been learning for 5.5 years, and I'm at level B2 now, so I can have my conversations. But to be honest, I've been having conversations of some description for years, because that's just how I do it. Yeah. Basically shout my 5 words at people and then call that a conversation. She's fluent. And there are specific whys that I could point to. Mostly to do with the fact that I live in the UK, and I live in the UK as an immigrant, if you want to see it that way. When I started learning Welsh, I have to go one more step back, I guess, because I am from Germany, and I am from I'm from like almost a border region. So maybe if you drive 45 minutes from where I'm from, you're in Luxembourg. So I grew up like near Luxembourg, and France is really close, and Belgium's really close, and there's always been kind of languages like you can easily get a Luxembourgish radio station, which is a language that is significant for our region. It influences our dialect really heavily, and the world at large maybe doesn't care about Luxembourgish, but I don't think I ever really assigned value in that way of like, well, what do English speakers think is important? They never do any language learning anyway. Like, what do they know? So and I already knew Spanish and French, and I've done some Italian, and I've done some Russian and blah. So I've kind of done all the ones that you have to check off. German is my native language, so I got that one for free. And which means I sort of was a little bit free, maybe, to play.
Yeah.
And once I started learning Welsh, it started when we went on holiday in Wales, and you don't run into necessarily, unless you go to specific areas, you don't just run into people who happen to speak Welsh. But we were in the car, we had this podcast, and the podcast was sort of teaching us the basics of like bore da, good morning, pronoun da, good afternoon, da da da. And I'm like, oh, this is fun to say. These are all fun to say. And all the signage is bilingual in Wales. And there was just this part of me where the more I learned Welsh, the more I kind of started getting into it, the more I felt like, I describe it like in a video game, you know, where you're on the hidden level.
Yeah.
That's how I started to feel. And then I went for the first time to the Eisteddfod, which is the Welsh sort of cultural festival thing, where everybody's camping and
big deal.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm like on the mice camping, right? On the camping thing. And I woke up in the morning in my tent, and around me there's these children running around and people chatting, and they're all chatting in Welsh. And I thought, it's real. Like, it's alive. It's actually here. And I felt like that amazing feeling, you know, when you're going on holiday or you're traveling and you're in a foreign country. I felt that, but in the UK. And I'm a big believer in, we don't need to travel halfway around the world to find adventure. And that gave me the kind of linguistic adventure. So I feel like Welsh has given me so much.
Fantastic.
That it's ridiculous to ask why. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, I don't understand why people resist it, because it is flipping awesome.
Yeah, it's a bizarre. I have to say bizarre language. It is bizarre. I mean, the pronunciation and the spellings in Welsh are something to behold. I feel like, but yeah, I love that linguistic adventure. That's a great term. I like that. Well, thank you anyway. I feel like you're a bit of a champion for Welsh. So thank you from the Welsh people. Thank you.
Very undeservedly, like, and don't make no mistake. In my Welsh class, every Thursday evening, I get told all the time, "Oh, I'm teaching 4 German people, and there is a Syrian refugee who's learning Welsh." And that, you know, because the community is so small, everybody just seems to be like, "Here is a non-Welsh person learning Welsh. Look at them." I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think I'm having so much fun with Welsh. I'm so grateful to the language and its teachers.
Oh, excellent. So you, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, you co-host the Women in Language event with Lindsay Williams and Shannon Kennedy.
That's right.
Tell me about the event. How long has it been running for now? You've had 2?
No, we've just finished our 4th.
Oh, 4. Wow, excellent. Well,
Yes.
Bad research there, sorry.
Not at all.
And so tell us a bit about why you started the event, and then how was the most recent one, because it just happened last month, right?
Yes, it happened in March. It was a little confusing because in 2020 we moved from our usual slot, which is in March, and we kind of moved it to September. So that year just seemed to confuse everybody.
Right.
But Women in Language is an online language conference, a 4-day event. We have about 30-ish speakers, 34 I believe this year. And we host sessions, all live, all hosted by one of us 3 organizers. We host panel discussions. We have got a very lively live chat running all the way through, and it's a buzzing event. The idea behind Women in Language was to champion, celebrate and amplify the voices of women in language, and just we can widen that out to lesser heard voices, in the sense that, you know, we're totally open. We've had non-binary speakers, transgender speakers. That's no deal. The idea, though, really was from noticing, and obviously when you're a woman in the polyglot space, you notice more, right? The things where you see the lack. And we felt there was just a little bit of a imbalance in terms of media attention, for sure. General sort of the idea of what a polyglot, like that image seemed to just be a lot of guys. And then that meant the kind of, here is an expert panel of people who are multilingual and all that stuff, that all skewed man. And I'm a strong believer in, this isn't really about like what I, like, I'm not saying women in language exists and now the world is perfect. I'm a strong believer in, when I've got something that really gets me riled up and I get a bit ranty, and I might have had a rant or two about whatever. I'm such a graceful person. That you got to do something about it. And I felt, not just me, it was sort of Lindsay and Shannon and I, we didn't sit down together and say, oh, we are really unhappy. Am I allowed to say stop? We are really unhappy. We didn't sit down and say, oh, something needs to change. Instead, I had my rant and then that was it. And then months later, Lindsay sort of brought up, oh, I'm looking at International Women's Day, which is the 8th of March. And I thought maybe we could do some kind of an event thing. Maybe I wanted to organize something. Do you want to help? Do you want to do something together? And I was like, oh, yes, I do. That sounds amazing. And I just got really excited about it. We brought Shannon in. And then when we started looking at, well, who could we have? Who could we work with? We really quickly realized we don't have a one-day event. We've got like a festival here. And we called it Women in Language to kind of set that flag down. But it isn't an event about women. It isn't an event where we discuss women topics, whatever those are. And it isn't an event that excludes men at all. So now that we've just had the 4th one you're asking about, something we're very proud of is in the 4 years we've had over 100 speakers. So we don't have a lot of repeat speakers. We focus on bringing in new speakers every time, new voices. We have improved in terms of diversity, I would say. Our first one was like people we know. Turns out they look like you. But it was, we've certainly improved on that. And I'm really proud of that. And it's a really welcoming space. But the other thing, from just sort of anecdotally looking through the names of registrants, we've had more guys this year. And every year just kind of get this movement going. So people realize, okay, even if there's just a load of women on stage, doesn't matter. It's still a really cool event. And I personally don't really see that many expert panels where it's just women. So I'm just so proud and delighted to be putting all that together and being a part of kind of putting that in the world. It is so much fun. And it's only $29. So we get a lot of participation and we try to open it up as widely as we can. And yeah, it's sort of become a movement and an event that has a name in the space, which don't know if we planned that, but here we are.
And here it is. It's fantastic. And so then next year's event is a safe bet. It's going to happen next year. I know it's early days. You just had the 4th one, but
well, if you've ever organized an event, you probably know that there's moments where you think, I'm never doing that again in my life ever. But there's a good chance. Yes, absolutely. And we would be in the International Women's Day sort of time slot. So that's usually the first weekend in March, roughly.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's too special, really. It's a special time. People really love it.
Wonderful. I want to ask you, a lot of our listeners, viewers are learning English and I'm sure other languages too. And I always like to ask anyone I get on who has mastered, so to speak, languages outside of their native language, if they have any advice. And from you, I would love to know, I noticed that reading through your website and listening to you, that kind of inclusivity is a big thing for you. And the message on your website is, anyone can learn a language. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, you can do it. It's really positive. I love that. Do you have any advice for anyone listening who might be thinking, wondering if they actually can, if they've never learned a language outside of their mother tongue. They're wondering, can I actually do this? I don't know. Do you have any advice for those people?
My advice would be to not spend too much time in wondering if you can do it, and to just try. Try. And because if you're spending a lot of time wondering, can I do this, then when something goes a little bit wrong or you make a mistake, then you're already asking the question, and then it's really easy to go, there's the evidence, I can't. I'm going back to bed.
Yeah.
And don't do that. don't do that. Instead, try to just find something that makes you really want to do it, because there's many things in life that you and everybody, you're doing it. Doesn't matter if you can do it or not, right? You're just doing it because it's fun. If you, I don't know, go to the cinema, you don't go like, I don't know, am I too stupid? I don't know, will I understand this? Like most of us, we have at least one thing in our life that we just do because it's awesome. And you would do it even if you weren't sure that, you could go all the way. Like, how many people play football / soccer and they're never going to be a professional player? It's not about that. And if you treat languages like that, if you treat English like that, like find something really cool and just kind of follow that, and stop asking, can I do this? Because then a year down the line, you'll be like, oh yeah, turns out I can. And that's a nice feeling. Yeah.
That's great advice. Thank you. So what's in store for you for the rest of 2021? Of course, it's a weird time, but things are still happening. The world is still ticking over. What's in store?
Well, there is at least one more podcast season coming, and I'm hoping I've got plans for the next 3, so let's do the next one first, which is it's going to be a season about teaching. So I've got a few interesting teachers. We're kind of talking more about teaching, and something I really like, which is talking business, because I'm a one-person business, and which means you spend a lot of time thinking about all this kind of stuff, and there is so much mindset and psychology. I feel like we have a parallel with languages. I really like that space, the coaching, I guess, motivating space, and the exploring how to overcome your inner hurdles, and really sharing strategies and sharing what's worked for me in the last 9 years of doing this self-employment thing. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's the podcast. On a personal level, I'm hoping to go home and see my family. And this is weird, Elle. You know what I miss almost as much, possibly some days more, than my mum?
Because I hope your mum's not listening to this. But go on.
I can talk to my mum on the phone, right? But I can't talk to the vineyards. And I'm from the Moselle Valley, which is all vineyards. And I have found, I really missed just looking at the vineyards and just seeing. That's like my feeling of home is when I'm in a vineyard. It seems,
and enjoying the products of the vineyard, I'm sure. Yeah,
I mean, I've got some in the fridge. That's fine.
Yeah.
I grew up in a winemaking family, and vineyards I think are really important to us. So I felt I never knew before the pandemic stopped me going for so long that I miss the landscape of my home, and I really just want to, just go home to see home, and that's something I'm hoping that this year we're gonna go back and I don't care about traveling the world, that can wait another year, but I really just want to go and see some vineyards. Seemingly. So there is that, and I'm hoping to relaunch my online course for teachers in line with the teaching season. So we're working on a few cool business projects too.
Yeah, wow, busy, it sounds like. I really hope you get to go home and enjoy the vineyards, and best of luck with everything you have planned for 2021. And thank you so much for joining us, Kerstin.
You're very, very welcome. Kreuzo.
Bye-bye.